Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this Madden Plays video breakdown, I want to take a look at another man defense. This one's out of the 46 bear under, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at it. I want to show you how to get some pressure that's going to allow you to get double edge pressure, assuming that you have an elite pass rusher on one side of the field. So let's go ahead and take a look at the defense. The one that we're going to run here is called a 46 bear under. LB Dogs. So let's go ahead and take a look at it on the play call screen here so you guys can get an idea of what playbook we're going to use this from. And you can see right there as you look at it, it's going to be from the Steelers playbook. There's some other playbooks you'll find a 46 bear under in, so just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and look at the defense itself. And of course, as you look at it, you can see on your screen, it's called the LB Dogs I've already talked about. One of the things I do want to point out with this particular setup, you must flip it either on the play call screen or you'll need to flip it once you get on the field. Either way it works, it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So we're going to go ahead and flip it here in a second here. Let's go ahead and flip it right there. You can see that we flipped it. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to go ahead and again use the iForm Pro Curls. I think I've explained this in some of the other videos why I choose this particular play, mainly because it sends everybody out and allows you to at least give an idea of where the pressure is coming from. So that's the reason I always usually choose the iForm Pro Curls if I can find it in a playbook that I'm doing it from. So let's go ahead and get on the field here, and then we'll talk about it as far as what this defense looks like as far as the coverages are concerned. Once you flip the defense, as you can see right here, again, this is a cover zero defense. So I'll go ahead and point that out to you. You have no safety help deep. That makes it a high risk, high reward coverage, because if they beat you with some kind of man beater that they might have, you're going to end up getting beat pretty quickly and easily with this setup, especially if you call a man press coverage. So keep that in mind. All right, so that's that on that as far as the coverages are concerned. As far as the actual who covers what, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So what we have here is 5 defenders in man coverage. You can see on your screen, I'm going to go ahead and indicate them for you. Those are your 5 defenders. And then you also have 6 defenders that are going to rush the quarterback. So here's your 6 defenders as you're looking at it. Those are all the 6 defenders that are actually going to rush the quarterback. For this setup, we're actually not going to have 6 defenders rush the quarterback. We're only going to have 5. We're going to have 1 defender dropping back into some type of coverage of our choosing. Just keep that in mind. All right. Now, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and run the defense. I'm not going to make any adjustments initially, and then we'll start talking about some of the adjustments you can make as far as with this defense. So right there, you can see that you can get pressure on the quarterback without having to do anything at all. You're going to get it from the outside linebacker. In this case, well, not even the outside linebacker. If I was to highlight this, and I'll go ahead and show this to you as you're looking at your screen here, this particular defender, once you flip it, is actually going to be the right end. So that's the defender that's going to apply the pressure if you don't make any adjustments at all. So let's go and run it one more time just so you can see it. He's going to get some pressure on the quarterback from the outside without making any adjustments, providing that they don't have anybody in staying in the pass block. All right, so that's with that said, that's the setup as far as without doing anything. If you want to get pressure, you can run this defense and pretty much know you're going to get some outside pressure. All right, let's go ahead and look at the setup here and show you what you guys can do to get the pressure on the quarterback. Now, as I mentioned already, one of the things I like to do with this one is I'm going to go ahead and slant the defensive line to the inside. So as you're looking at your screen here, I'm going to go ahead and slant to the down. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press down on the right stick. As you can see on your screen, it's going to go down. And then that's going to get me the slant to the inside. I'm going to show you why here in a second that I do this. We'll kind of go back to it. So let's go ahead, and this guy right here, this is going to be the left end. And so what I'll do with him is I'm going to go ahead and put him in QB spy. So you can see right there, I got him in QB spy. This is going to give me that extra defender that I can drop back into pass coverage that'll allow me to get pressure on the quarterback and still have 1 extra defender dropping back. So rather than having 6 defenders rush, now we'll have 5. And I'm going to show you why here in just a second. So there you can see I get that outside pressure. And the idea of this, and I talked about that we're going to try to get double edge pressure. The reason we're going to get double edge pressure here is because as you look at your screen, if you have a defender such as TJ Watt, who's lined up over here, this is going to allow you to get that extra pressure because he has that star ability where he can, elite ability where he can get by the right tackle in this case and he can apply pressure on the quarterback. So make sure if you have an elite pass rusher that you have him lined up on the opposite side of the pass rusher that's coming off from the left side of your screen. So, for example, as you saw earlier, I just mentioned that we were getting pressure from this defender here, which happens to be the right end. Make sure you have your elite defender lined up to the right side of the screen. In this case, it's Watt, and he'll be coming over from this direction. So make sure you guys do that if you're going to, go ahead and set this up. So as you saw with the setup, I just showed you that you can get pressure coming off both sides of the field by doing this. And plus, you end up getting an extra defender that can drop back, in this case, QB spy, and that's the idea of this. Now, you may not always get that pressure from Watt off the edge, but that's what you're hoping on when you do this. Now, he may not always get by, but if he does, then you're going to get double edge. If he doesn't, then you're only going to get one guy, but at least you know you're going to get one guy in there. All right, now, with that said, let's make some subs here, and this is going to help make this even a more effective pass rush. So based on the team that you have, that's going to determine on how you make these subs. So let's go into the subs here, and I want to talk about this in a second as we go. Now, you can do it either in the sub screen if you want to. You can do it here in the depth chart, or I'm not going to do it here because I rather prefer to do it based on formation alone. So let's go back into the formation, and we're going to go ahead and make some subs here. And what I would like to do, if I'm using the Steelers or whatever team that I might be using, I got to look and see what I have. So what I prefer to do is to go ahead and put one of my faster linebackers in at the right end position. So in this case, you can see right here, we've got Hayward. He's lined up at the right end position. So let's look and see what we can do to increase our speed. Now, I know Dupree is probably one of the faster ones. And one of the things you cannot do is put a middle linebacker in at the right end position. If you have a fast middle linebacker, you cannot put him at the right end position. But what you can do is you can sub out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sub out Dupree, even though I know I would like to have another guy in there, particularly this Bush guy, but he cannot play that right end spot. So what I'll have to do is I'm going to put Bush in at where Dupree's at. So he's playing the right outside linebacker. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Hayward here, and then I'm going to put Dupree there. And then I'm going to move Hayward to the inside. So that's going to give me him lined up there. Now, basically, when you really think about this, I've gone from a 4-3 front to a 3-4 front. And the Steelers, that's what they're more known for, is a 3-4 front. So now I've gone from a 4-3 to a 3-4 front. Basically, I'm moving Hayward into the weak side defensive tackle spot where he can play right in at. And so now I've got, if you look at it, and think about this, and I'll try to kind of zoom in a little bit on here because I want to show you what I'm thinking, what my thought process was when I did this. You can see that here's your right end, here's your nose tackle now, and then you're going to get another linebacker lined up over here, or not linebacker, but another defensive end lined up here. Let's show you which one that is here as you look at your screen. And so you're going to get this guy. Let's go back and zoom in again. So you're going to get your other guy right here. So when you really look at this, let's clear this thing here and zoom back in again. When you really think about this, then what we're really getting here is we're doing this setup is we're getting three linebackers, and then we're going to get, three defensive linemen. Sorry about that. Three defensive linebackers. Then you're going to get four linebackers. So you got 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers. So basically, you're getting a 3-4 defense set up out of this is what I'm trying to show here. So you end up having a 3-4 rather than a 4-3. So that's what's nice with this as far as the setup goes, especially if you're playing a team that's more of a 3-4 base type defense, such as the Steelers. That's what the idea of this was. So plus you're also getting some faster players out in the field by doing this setup that I'm showing here. So that's also nice to have some faster players. All right, so with that said, let's go back into this defense again. And let's go ahead and flip it. So we got the LB Dogs is what we're running. And we're going back into the I-Form Pro Curls. So let's go back and do the same setup. So we're going to go ahead and slant the defense line to the inside. Go ahead and put him in QB spy if you choose to do this. One of the things else I might do with this guy if I want, I might just go ahead and just move him over a little bit to the right. And the only reason I'm going to do this is because I'm trying to make sure that this guy right here, which is this right guard, I want to make sure that he commits even more to me over to this side. You don't have to do this. This is more optional, but that'll make sure that he at least looks that direction. And the further I can get him to go into the right, the better off I am with this setup, because then he's got to come back Once he goes this direction, he's got to come back and look to block this direction. And then that kind of just helps with the way the blocking works out. So let's go ahead and run it again, same setup here. And then you're going to see you get some pressure off the edge. And like I said, you're looking to get some pressure coming off the edge from Watt as well. Again, it doesn't always happen. I can't always guarantee it, but that's the idea of the setup here. So let's run it one more time and see if we can get that pressure coming off from Watt off the edge there. And there he comes off to the edge that time. He's able to get in there. So that's really what you're looking for with this setup. As I said, you may not always get that, but that's definitely the idea. Something else you could do, I suppose. Let's go ahead and do the same setup here. If you wanted to, you can move Watt a little further out. I wouldn't get too far out with him, but maybe, you know, maybe lined up. Let's move him just outside the tight end and do something like that. And that might help him get to the outside a little better. I can't always guarantee it, but that's an idea right there. All right, so there's the setup right there as far as what this goes. One of the other things I want to point out is you can use base line if you so choose. Let's go ahead and use base line here. Now, it doesn't change the coverages for, say, against the iPhone Pro, but as you look at it, you got one deep. You got one defender that's playing deep over the top. You can see it right here. At least it looks like he's playing deep. He's playing, this could be a cover 3 for all your opponent knows. So one thing you might want to do is, I want to show this to you as we go into here. Let's go into a shotgun formation because I want to show you guys something. And this is the reason I want to talk about base of line in particular, especially if you're going to run this against a gun formation. Let's just run a scroll combo. And let's go back into this defense here again, back into the LB Dogs. There you go on the screen. See, this is what I was talking about. Now, this is without base line on. So if you don't have base line on, you're going to give your opponent kind of the cover 0 look right off the bat. So what you can do if you want to put base line on, you can. And then that'll give them a cover 3 look or a one deep high, a one safety high. And so they can't tell if it's cover 3 or cover 1 right off the bat. So you might consider doing that. Of course, the problem with that is you've decided to do that is you've got an uncovered defender or receiver. In this case, as you look at it, the uncovered receiver, unfortunately, is going to be the slot receiver. So just keep that in mind if you decide to do this with the base of line and against a shotgun type formation. So just keep that in mind as you do it. Let's go back in here again. Let's go ahead and put him in QB spy. We'll just slide him over. And then we're just going to try to get some pressure off the edge. And there's the pressure again. You can see that Watt was actually about to get in there, but we are able to get some pressure off the edge. And hopefully Watt can get on his own. That's what we're trying to set up. I mentioned earlier about putting this guy right here. This is going to be the left end. I talked about if you wanted to, you can hot route him in any kind of zone, so we can put him in zone as well. And you can still get the same look as far as with the pressure. Here, we'll go ahead and go base line. We've got him dropping back in a vertical hook. And then we're going to look to get pressure from the outside. So we can still get that pressure coming off the edge from the left side of the screen. Plus, we're hoping that Watt, as I mentioned earlier, can get in there. So this is an easy setup that can certainly bring some pressure on the quarterback. And it doesn't require a whole lot. As you're looking at, I'm really not doing a whole lot. And plus, you get one extra defender. Initially, remember, this defense is supposed to have 6 pass rushers. We're able to get it down to 5 and still get pressure on the quarterback. And that's really what I try to do is when I go through these setups, I'm always trying to find a way, how can I get an extra defender to drop back in coverage, especially in these cover 0 defenses, because if you don't, then you leave yourself a little bit more vulnerability. Also, the other thing is wire control of, let's go ahead and set this up again. Wire control of this, a lot of times I'll control this left end guy that I'm in control of right now. And then I'll just kind of just watch. And I'll just kind of watch for stuff coming over the short middle of the field. Let's do it one more time here at the setup. Same thing. We'll go ahead and call base line just for now, I guess. We'll go ahead and do it. And then all I'm doing is while I'm in control of this defender is to make sure if they were to go ahead and run some type of, maybe some type of play where they've got guys coming over the short middle of the field, then I can kind of watch for those. So as you watch here, as you watch. So what I'm looking for, maybe I'll have some, receiver coming across into this direction here. And then while I'm in control of this guy, here I'm in QB spy, I'm watching just in case. The other thing I could suggest to you, if you have another fast linebacker or somebody that you could put at the right end position or left end position, and you want some extra speed, you could put another linebacker in at the left end position. And then you're going to end up basically going from a 4th front more or less to a 2 defensive lineman front. So you're going to go from like you're literally going to go 2 defensive linemen, and then you're going to go 5 linebackers. And that's another option if you decide to get that crazy. But that's up to you. But if you do that, you're going to get a faster defender dropping back into coverage to help take away some of that short middle of the field and still get a 5-man pass rush. So some different things you can do with this. Kind of just want to point all the different things you can do with your options that you have with this 46 Bear under LB Dogs play that I'm showing here. Just remember, make sure you flip it at the play call screen or on the field. If you want, use base align, that's up to you. A lot of different things you can do. Make your subs depending on what team you're using and what personnel you have. Not every team's going to have an elite pass rusher. Keep that in mind. But there's a lot of options, a lot of things you can do with this particular setup to try to, get yourself some pressure and keep your opponent off balance. So again, the name of the defense here is called 46 Bear under LB Dogs. Hey Madden gamers, if you enjoy this Madden video or any other video, please subscribe to the Madden Guides YouTube channel. And as always, thanks for watching and for your support.